that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not going to
a seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going. So I won't refer to anything having to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But
to pursue the agenda of white supremacy.
You think Trump is pursuing a white supremacist agenda?
Yes, I think so.
Sunrise over DC, coffee in my hand. Saw the headlines from a faraway land. South Africa's politicos
running their mouth again about America and me. Where does it all end? They're about a whole year of the same old tune.
name calling in tall tales beneath the African moon. Oh, it's more trash in the USA. I declare, while their own folks are struggling beyond all compare, pointing fingers outward, ignoring what's inside. For Afrikaners and minorities, nowhere left to hide. Well, this cowboy's had enough,
Patience wearing thin.
gonna tell the world the truth.
Where do I begin? They talk about freedom and justice for all, while their own people are answering a different call.
Farmers on their homesteads,
Living in fear and dread,
minority voices silence words left unsaid.
promises like tumbleweeds blowing in the breeze, while their leaders keep on preaching,
Bringing us to our knees. Oh, it's more trash in the USA. I declare, while their own folks are struggling beyond all compare, pointing fingers outward, ignoring what's inside. For Afrikaners and minorities, nowhere left to hide. Well, this cowboy's had enough,
patience wearing thin.
gonna tell the world the truth.
Where do I begin?
I try to stay quiet,
Let it roll right on by.
but a man can only take so much beneath God's sky. That's the honest truth.
When you see folks suffering, it just ain't right.
Gonna set the record straight with all my might. Oh, it's more trash in the USA. I declare, while their own folks are struggling beyond all compare, pointing fingers outward, ignoring what's inside. For Afrikaners and minorities, nowhere left to hide. Well, this cowboy's had enough,
Patience wearing thin.
gonna tell the world the truth.
Where do I begin?
Yeah, more trash in the USA.
But the truth will find its way.
Pretoria, listen up to what I gotta say. God bless America, come what may.
Come what may. The Wyatt Army. Ooh. Hey, 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 hey.
For decades in the
his weary bones. He looked upon the world today, the chaos and the noise, and saw the messy circus of the digital decoys. He couldn't sit in silence, no, he couldn't look away. He waited in the battle, ready for a brand new day. They try to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. Folks took notice of the voice, the clarity, the spark, and gathered around the fire. He lit inside the dark, and the Wyatt Army marches on. The signal is steady, the confusion is gone. We don't need the fantasies from the left to side. We've got the colonel and the truth is our guide. Yeah, the Wyatt Army marches on until the fake news twilight turns to dawn. We see the objective, we know where we belong. The Wyatt Army marches on. From the loyal subscribers to the trolls beneath the bridge, to the hate wankers hiding on the digital ridge. It matters not who's listening, the evil or the kind, because the colonel's got the drive to open up the mind. Legacy media serving up the lens of lies and fake, but we shatter all the mirrors for the future's sake. Energy and enthusiasm breaking through the screen, the sharpest moral clarity the world has ever seen. They try to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. We see the objective, yeah, we see it crystal clear. The army is assembled and the victory is here. And the Wyatt Army marches on. The signal is steady, the confusion is gone. We don't need the fantasies from the left to side. We've got the colonel and the truth as our guide. Yeah, the Wyatt Army marches on until the fake news twilight turns to dawn. We see the objective, we know where we belong. The Wyatt Army marches on. He served the flag with honor, he served it well. Now he serves the truth, saving us from hell. No stymie to his pace, no slowing of the stride, with the Wyatt Army marching right by his side. Truth will triumph. The Wyatt Army marches on. The Wyatt Army marches on. No fake reality. The colonel leads the way every single day. The Wyatt Army marches on.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the program. It is Sunday, December 14th, 2025. Sound check. Sunday, December 14th, 2020. Sounds very good. All right, excellent. So the sound is working. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to all the folks around the world, Christians and Jews who are celebrating this holiday season. It's a pleasure to have you join me once again. And we need to take care of a couple of housekeeping things before we get to the news. First off, something is wrong with my internet connection again. It's the upload, not the download. I can download at a gigabyte per second, as much as that, but the upload keeps going up and down, which has led to lost frames. And if you get disconnected, that's the reason why. A technician is scheduled to come tomorrow to my house, and hopefully we can resolve this. I just rebooted my router again, and for the moment, it seems to be working. Also, a program announcement. After this, you'll be redirected to Stammtisch with Lily and Chris. I'm doing a segment. We're not going to do it necessarily on Sundays, but instead, in lieu of the refugee chat today, we're going to have Stammtisch. So people looking for that, you will find Stammtisch. Lily and I will chat about what she's hearing, what I know, what discussions are going on. We'll talk a little bit about the refugees since people asked for that. Now I need to deal with a few things here very quickly. Okay, first off, on Friday was incredibly busy, went to bed at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, got up in the morning, was interviewed by Chris Stain on Biz News. I was very measured, very calm, very quiet, very rational in that conversation. I didn't call anybody names. I didn't attack anybody personally. I simply gave her my analysis of the year in events for South Africa, all of which was factual. Very little opinion thrown in. There was a little bit of opinion in it, but that was basically analysis. But the facts were pretty clear about the year for South Africa. The number of positive comments are overwhelming and wonderful, but the number of hate-wanking, vile, repulsive comments, including from a person who used to watch my channel, but his panties got in a bunch because I said something he didn't agree with. Instead of being an adult, he left the room. Now, this is one of the first people I met when I went to South Africa back in 2022 after the lockdown scam. Welcomed me with open arms, asked to meet with me, and technically was the second person I met with because I'd already had dinner that first evening with Paulie and his then fiancée. So that was the first evening I had dinner. But the next day when I went to the Groot Constantia vineyard, he wanted to come meet me. Seemed like a reasonable, nice person, a lovely person. In fact, I think he even gave me says no, Colonel. What? Your screen says no. What are you talking about, Lana? What are you talking about? So it seemed like a very nice person and very polite. And as I recall, gave me a super chat, just asked me not to put his photographs or not to mention that I met him. Well, I respected that wish. And this is a person who didn't like something I had to say about 2 or 3 years ago and just disappeared. And I didn't know why he disappeared. And I was polite and considerate to him. He came back to channel briefly, then he left. But he's been on other channels, undermining my channel, lying about me, and he was on Biz News. And so on Biz News, he basically said the following. People want to go on things they think they're anonymous and making their asinine comments. Well, I've been polite and friendly for 5 or 6 years, and that politeness and friendliness is worn out now. So this is what the comment was. So if you don't like this, you're being exposed, and you shouldn't write such stupid stuff. So this is what he had to say about my interview on Biz News. So you guys see this, okay? So there you go. Ken Aronston. He's so boring. Never anything new. Same old essay, me, old regurgitation. All right? Well, Ken Aronston, this court finds you guilty of being an asshole and you receive a bad conduct discharge. Foot sec. Stay off the channel. Nobody wants a sorry loser like you. What a pathetic man. What a pathetic man. You got something to say? He's got my contact information. He could have written to me. No, he's just got to be an ass. So it's pariahs like that. Yes, Ken is a douchebag. You're right, Lamont. He is a douchebag. People like that and some other people, a couple of people from Fellow Drift who've been bad-mouthing me on other channels. And you know what? So, you get a bad conduct discharge for being a douchebag. Discharged. No longer welcome to the Wyatt Army. No longer welcome to the Wyatt Army. Not that you have been. It's a pathetic comment. Yeah, it's exactly. There's nothing there that even refutes anything I said. Boring. Boring in what way? Did you guys watch this? Were you boring? That's a truly awful scumbag person. A douchebag is a good name for him, Smiley Rose. A douchebag. Yes, Yolanda says, I wish people would stay in the lane. If you don't like the video, then don't watch it. Yeah, anyway. What happened to the bugger off bunny? Oh, Bob's here. He's hanging out. But, I put up with this shit from these losers. And, I'm sorry, that's what you are, Ken. You're a loser. You're not a man. You don't have the courtesy to say that to me. I didn't, you asked me to be respectful and I was, and you're just a douchebag, buddy. So anyway, I am living rent-free in his house. Yeah, I'm living rent-free in a lot of people's houses. A lot of the comments coming from black supremacists and other nonsense. It really pisses me off. These losers say this stuff all the time. He never says anything good about South Africa. It's always the same thing. Hey, I'm not the one that's leaving the NGC as a senior delegate of the ANC and going to Pretoria to Menlyn to take an extortionist bribe from a contractor. That wasn't me. I didn't make that story up. I'm not the one that commits 27,000 murders here. That's not me. I'm not the one whose president mocks openly on government communications shared with the public by them intentionally, laughing about Trump. I'm not the one who did that. They did. I'm not the one who sends soldiers to Congo who shoot like this. That's not me. Should we cover that up? Oh, talk about your own country. I do talk about my own country, the $38 trillion in debt, and the dysfunction of Congress, and the useless lawsuits, 545 filed against the Department of Justice this year alone. I talk about it all the time. And I talk about dysfunctional Republicans, Marjorie Taylor Greene. But these asswipes hear what they want to hear, see what they want to see, lie about what they want to lie about. Utter nonsense. Oh, I should talk about America. Why do you have a Center for American Studies at Wits University? Why do you have the right to talk about America, but I can't talk about South Africa as a scholar? Why? Because you're loser whataboutism, people. Loser. That's an L. Yeah, I know. It looks like a bracket for some people. I can't read that. It's an L. Yep. Anyway. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Got something on my hoodie over here. What's that? Oh, I spilled something on there. Shame. This is my nice Monty's hoodie. Oh, I got two of them. I spilled my food all over my last time I had on. Dang. All right. So, yeah. Let's see what we got here. SABC. What are they saying? President's confirmed the Michelin Commission report will not be made public. Of course, the report will not be made public. Of course. Naturally. I just said cover up his DNA, ANC's DNA. Yeah, anyway. Chelsea might suggest, yeah, Mark shows up in that totally. Yep. South Africans can talk about exactly, Jules. They can talk about America all they want. Oh, they can call America names. They can insult our president. But I, as an academic scholar, as a political scientist and historian, am not allowed to talk about South Africa. What about that Dutch film crew? Yes, I do have that story, Daniel, as long as we don't lose the connection here. But I want to show you something else. So, did it get saved? Hang on a second here. I got to see if it got saved. I'm looking for an image here that someone sent to me. Come on, where's it at? Is it here? No, I don't see it. I know I just saved this damn image. This really irritates me how this happens. It was in WhatsApp. Hang on a second here. Oh, I have to pay reparations, somebody's telling me. Where the heck was it? Somebody that was with me. There it is. Okay. I don't want that. I don't want to save it. So let me save this again. Save as. What is going on with... WhatsApp has not worked properly in some time now. It's not letting me save the image. Well, that's really... Or is it over here? That's not it. I'm trying to save this image. God bless it. There we go. I did save that before. What's going on here? There it is. I got it. Why didn't it show up when I looked at it? So that video from Opiplas, I did say in the video that it was an ambush. What the hell's going on? I don't want that one. Now 3 of them open up. Okay, so that's crazy. I think it's my computer and not the WhatsApp. Okay, why is it not showing up? It should be the most recent image because I just saved it, unless it's because it's going by the metadata. There it is. I've got it. Oh, my goodness. Finally, this is what I was trying to show you guys. So when I left Opiplas, I was walking out. You can see I'm going to the exit here. And they look at the smug look on this guy's face. Bram, what's his name? Vermeulen. This is a smug look on this guy. This one of my viewers took this video. I didn't know. I just saw that. Not video. Took this image. I just saw this image for the first time today. So that's me trying to leave the event at Opiplas after it's over, and they caught me in the corner and caught me right there and tried to question me. And he wanted me to lie. Yeah, Vanessa, we were all there. We knew it was an ambush. That's why we didn't want to talk to those people. That Deborah Pop was something else. Yeah. But here I am. This is the Dutch film crew. Look at the smug look on his face. That's not a smile. You see how the cheek is drawn back? Cheek is drawn back. And so I'm answering their questions. And of course, I answered his questions fairly and correctly, and he didn't care to report that. I'm not in the documentary. This isn't hurt feelings because it doesn't bother me that I'm not in the documentary when they lied. But the point is that I answer the questions just like I did for Donnie O'Sullivan, and they don't like the answers, so they don't put it in their documentary. You see, that's dishonest. When I interview people, if I don't like what they say, I tell them I don't like what they say, and I tell them why. I don't cut them out of the interview. I don't cuck them out of the interview. But these aren't real journalists. This is a state-run public broadcasting outlet, VPRO, from the Netherlands. It's leftist. What ride? What are we talking about? Anyway, tell my fonts. Yeah, so that's what happened. So this is the guy. Thank you to the viewer who took this photograph, because I had very few photographs of myself that day at Opiplas. Yes, they're just scumbags. And I actually read, someone says, I was a black South African. I was skeptical of this documentary. And I wrote to him, I said, well, you're right to be skeptical. But he said, but he just lays all the facts out. Lays the facts out. He lays out a narrative, a fake narrative, just like Donnie O'Sullivan did. What the hell does Arkansas have to do with South Africa? Nothing. Misinformation, white genocide, nothing to do with it. These people are terrible, man. They're terrible. Folks, you don't have to trust me. I tell you where to go. I tell you the conditions for the program. You know, and these people who, oh, unbelievable. You know, gosh. Let's get to the Advent calendars, okay? Let's take care of that. Let's deal with the Advent calendar, okay? All right, Kinder Schokolade is our first one up. And don't forget, after this will be Stammtisch, which, of course, is German. Today is the 14th, so we're going to look for 14 on this calendar. Okay, 16, 24, 15, 22, 14. There's a little reindeer down here. Whoops, he went in backwards. Let's punch him back out here. There you go. $14 here. There you go. There's a bell. Oh, listen to me now as I open my Advent calendar up, complaining about South Africa, how terrible it is. Yes, this chocolate must have come from South Africa. It must be very bad, because that's all I ever talk about. Ooh, it's bad stuff in South Africa. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, 14. Yes, 14. There we go. Any snowman. But where were these Ferrayas when I did an interview with a nongenarian speaker of the language Nu, the last known first language speaker of the language? Where were these Ferrayas at? Complimenting me on my coverage of the Sutu cultural village in the Free State in the Golden Gate Park. Ooh, they weren't there. Where were these Ferrayas when I covered the beautiful scenery of South Africa and the wonderful people, the Tswana people? When I covered the protest of the Tswana tribe from Northwest at the Union buildings? Where were these Ferrayas at? Nowhere to be found. Oh, so I should only talk about rainbows and unicorns in South Africa. Okay, let's do that. Let me talk about today's positive news out of South Africa. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to have to prep for it. It's going to take a few hours to prep for it. Oh, no, I was wrong. A little bit off on my estimate. It won't take a few hours. It'll take all of about 6 seconds to give you today's good news from South Africa. Let's see. Oh, yes, the Stormers won. There you go. There you go, folks. There you go. The Stormers won. There you go. There you go. Fantastic. Good news. Fantastic. The Stormers won. We love it. Kathy says, do I feel bad eating chocolate in front of you? I don't at all, Kathy. You see, it's the same thing all the time. I only speak about bad things, so here we go. Chocolate. The Bulls lost better than his Fonz. But Philip, it's not the haters. It's the people who turn on me because their feelings are hurt. Oh, my wussy hurts. My wussy hurts. Oh, yeah. I made a video last night for that Andre Richter, folks, but I haven't edited. I still got to edit the one from DC. You're going to love that one from the people I interviewed from down south. So I'll just show you a quick little glance at what that looks like. So I've got errors in it. I've got to edit it, take a couple things out. So where's it at? I recorded it. Where's it at? Did I do it in Zoom? Oh, maybe I didn't do it. No, I did. I recorded this. Where the hell's it at? That's weird. Is it a Zoom thing? I thought I did it with my... No, where'd the video go? I recorded that video last night, did I not? What the hell? That's weird. That is strange. It's not there. Huh. Maybe I was tired and I didn't push the record button, but I swore I did. And I was just going to edit it today. Output. Government. Twitter boss. 143, 236. It was after that. So must not have saved. I'll have to re-record it. I don't have the script anymore. Yeah, you're talking about Adrian Richter selling his medals. Yeah, that was sad. When they do talk about you, they must worry, Colonel. Jealousy causes rude remarks. They're all jealous. Exactly. Guys, the world is going to crap. Hear about Bondi Beach attack? Yes. No, I haven't got to it yet, Mr. Chromo. Jealousy makes you nasty. That's why people act so stupid. Yep. Heinrich, I don't suffer fools. Gladly, I will get very impatient with stupid people. Who's stupid? All right, so Mad Max, yeah. So Mad Max sent this. This is about Adrian Richter, who's I did record this video last night. I didn't imagine it. That's crazy. Typically, people really don't care to deal with hard truths and rather virtue signaling. Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's get to the news, folks. We've got lots of news to cover in just an hour before I've got to do the other program with Lily. So, all right, let me get on to the news. And where are you hiding at here? I got a lot of news here. I'll give you some. And in fact, that's my lead story. Oh, but that's what I want to say. So amongst the people in that video on Newsroom or Business that I did, the interview, I recorded that video Friday morning before I drove to D.C. to meet with very senior people to discuss South Africa. And when I left here, I finished that interview. I went to Veterans Place for about a half hour, then left there and went down to D.C. That was recorded on Friday. So a snarky little asswipe troll went on to the newsroom report and says, so typical. Doesn't even have the compassion. He just hates South Africa so much. He's got to launch in attacking South Africa. Doesn't have the courtesy or the decency to say a word of thought for the victims of Bondi Beach. Hey, dumbass. The video was recorded Friday. Nobody was murdered on Friday at Bondi Beach. That happened last night, today in Australia. These people are just stupid, dumb. Good rapport between two of you. You were asked against, and I answered truthfully, to the point. Facts are facts without sugarcoating. And when she said something that's incorrect, I offer correction. Do read the comments, okay? Ronald Lamola, okay? Let's see what Lamola's got to say. We condemn the senseless violence which appears to have targeted the Jewish faithful while they were lighting candles. There's no justification for terrorism attacks any group. South stands solid with Australia in this period of mourning. Oh, really? Are you serious? Interesting, because the South African government has been encouraging anti-Semitism with this. Oh, Pumlani Mahosi. Well said. The Kifness, tell that to your buddies Hamas. Exactly. Ooh, that's rich coming from y'all. Towards the end of his speech at ANC's rally in FMB Stadium, Soweto, Ramaphosa chanted, free Palestine. From the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. Rich coming from you. Now do Israel. Oh, wait. So now you support Jews. That's a change of heart, isn't it? But the same people you and your comrades support, it's the same people that are here in South Africa now. Soon it will be the same people who attack South Africans at Gavin. Vote out the raceless, useless, corrupt ANC criminals. Resign in shame so South Africa may live. Is Iran going to fund your staff's payroll? World needs to stop multicultural. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. Matthew Cohen says, as a Jew, I have one thing to say to you. Fuck off, you anti-Semitic scumbag. God will judge you and your allies from the Iranian axis of evil. Wow. Yeah, wow. I better save that image before they take it down. So that's Durko. Yeah, virtue signaling from the people who hate Jews. Yep. Unbelievable. Ronald Lamola, what a clown. What a clown car show. He didn't even write this, I'm sure. One of his aides wrote it, and they just said, publish it. Handle it, Roy. Handle it. My goodness. Okay, now we'll finally get to this. Thank you for that, Mad Max. Yeah, wow. I will make a video about that. I've got so much to do today when I'm done here. My goodness. I just went through a bunch of messages. So my first news story today, now that we're in the news, my first news story today is, in fact, the Bondi Beach attack. Now, of course, Australia has no guns, right? They took guns away from people. So they took all these guns away from people. And what do we get? People with guns murdering people. Why? Because the honest, law-abiding citizens are defenseless. Just like South Africans will soon be. Defenseless against intruders of the night who come to rape, pillage, and plunder. This is what their goal is. They want you defenseless. So you turn to the state to have a police state so they'll protect you. Like the National Party police state, which policed speech and freedom of association. Yes, that's what they want. The same thing. You're welcome, Clyde. They want the same thing because they're evil ferrayas. 10, including the shooter, killed after 2 gunmen opened fire. What do you mean the shooter, including a shooter, at Australia's popular Bondi Beach? 2 suspected shooters opened fire at Sydney's iconic Bondi Beach on Sunday, killing 9 people and wounding multiple others in an attack that spread panic with bodies reported lying on the ground. And for my troubles, giving the interview with Newsroom, or with Biz News Africa, a commentator said, I hate South Africa so much that I couldn't be bothered to say a word of condolences for the people at Bondi Beach. Let me just go back in time to Friday morning. Okay, we'll change the clock back there to the 11th. Go back, it's Sunday, so Saturday was the 13th, Friday's the 12th. So now it's 12 December 2025, and here we are. I'm giving my interview to Chris Ten. I'd like to express my condolences to the Jews who were attacked and murdered by an anti-Semitic scumbag in Bondi Beach, Australia. That attack, which of course hasn't occurred yet, but I am known as Senior from Rendsburg, and so I'm predicting that it will occur on Sunday in Australia. I know you don't believe me, I haven't showed you receipts, but I'm predicting now that this will happen on Sunday. So my condolences go out to these people in advance. Somebody drinking a little too much Amarula in South Africa. I didn't say anything about it. Well, guess what? It hadn't happened yet. I don't have the power of clairvoyance. I can't see into the future. 2 shooters opened fire. This is what happens when you let these scumbags in your country. Another 11 were wounded. One of the shooters killed, second in critical condition. We heard the shots. It was shocking. It felt like 10 minutes, just bang, bang, bang. Crowds fled in fear to the beach in eastern Sydney, which draws huge numbers of surfers, swimmers, and tourists. Emergency service responded reports of shots being fired at 6:45 in the evening. Number of suspicious items were located. Here's people fleeing up the steps. A screen grab. One witness declined to be named said he personally witnessed 6 dead or injured bodies lying on the beach. The grassy hill overlooking the beach was strewn with discarded items from people fleeing too fast. Paramedics tended to multiple people.
¿Qué está pasando? ¿Dónde? Alicia, escucha, Alicia, ¿por qué pasa algo?
That is not random fire, ladies and gentlemen. That is not random fire. That is targeted. They're taking their time shooting people. You can hear that. Single shots running out, not multiple, not automatic gunfire. That is single shots. They are actually targeting people there, folks. They are targeting people there. There was a shooting, 2 shooters in black with semi-automatic rifles. Timothy Brand-Cole said, saying he saw multiple people being shot and wounded. Another witness, 30-year-old witness, resident Harry Wilson, told the Sydney Morning Herald that he saw at least 10 people on the ground and blood everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you let these people in your country. Now, if these turn out to be Australians, born and raised in Australia, then this is what happens because you allow your country to turn against its values. Yeah, they're saying semiotic. That's what I said. It was single shot. If the whole thing is planned, it's not random. And you take one guess where it's coming from. I'm not going to make any attribution. Not going to claim who's responsible for it, who's behind it, because that's a mistake. I never do that. Yeah, who gets off on doing this sort of thing? It was targeted. It was intentional. It's terrorism. There's no other answer for it. Nobody went there, it was a disgruntled spouse, and just started shooting all these people. Yeah, the odds of being a crazy person are very limited because it was well planned and executed. This is terrorism, obviously. So we'll have to wait and see who they attribute it to, but you can take your guess who it's going to be attributed to. It's certainly not going to be an indigenous group in Australia. They've been identified. Who are they identified? Okay, well, tell me who they were. I haven't seen any news. Let me get an update. I checked that news a few hours ago before the rugby games. I have to check on it. Bondi Beach. Let me see if I can get an update on that. Bondi Beach. 4 minutes ago, BBC updates it. Intifada comes to Bondi Beach, says the Atlantic. So, hero who tackled gunman was twice shot and is in hospital. Man who was filmed tackling one of the Bondi Beach shooters and taking away his gun was shot twice and is in hospital. The Australian TV network says it spoke to a relative man of 43 as the man who... Okay, wait. Okay, the man who tried to stop the shooting was Ahmed Al-Ahmed. He's a hero, says the news. TV network also shared some footage of a man who looks like the same man in the video sat on the floor with his left arm covered in blood. They were unable to verify it so far. Yeah, and Netanyahu has accused Canberra of pouring oil anti-Semitism, which that government has been doing. Yep. Police are swarming all over Sydney area. It's already evening, going to the next day now. At 1847, reports of gunfire, an event marking the first night of Hanukkah with more than 1,000 people attended. 10 minutes later, police issued a statement urging people at the scene to take shelter. Yeah, 10 minutes later, it's too late. Around the same time, local media began reporting people on the ground. A video verified by BBC shows 2 gunmen firing at a small bridge which crosses from the car park on Campbell Parade towards the beach. Another video man is shown wrestling a gun from one of the attackers. Police held a news conference at 10 p.m. confirming 11 dead and 29 people were taken to hospital. So a lot more than 11 that was originally talked about. A killed rabbi who spoke out against Manchester synagogue. In October, Rabbi Schlanger, whose family identified him as one of those killed in today's shooting, spoke to the Australian Jewish news outlet after the attack at the Heaton Park synagogue in Manchester. As a reminder, 2 people were killed and a suspected terrorist shot dead by police after a car was driven at pedestrians outside a synagogue in Manchester, he said. Schlanger, who was told the outlet that his great-uncle Leslie had been the rabbi at the synagogue for more than 35 years, was asked if he was worried about a similar attack in Australia. He replied that he put his full trust in Hashem and that nothing will happen. Well, he was wrong. He was wrong. There's an 11-minute continuous video film about 50 meters away. It reveals how the attack unfolded and how the police and bystanders responded. It's unclear how soon the recording began after the attack started, but it opens with one gunman already in the footbridge between Campbell and Archer Park, and the second, distinctive white trousers and backpack, shoots at a fleeing person. Then the pair directs sustained fire towards the event. Wow. Where is this video at? Drone footage shows Bondi shooters on the bridge. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's drone footage. Distressing content. Okay. Let me see if I can't get that full screen. There we go. All right. So, distressing content, but, oh, I see. They covered one of the things up. Okay, hang on a second. Print screen. I want to save this. Okay, good. Got it. Okay, let me see if anything comes of this. There's no people here where he's... Oh, someone's shooting at the guy on the bridge. He's ducking. The guy on the bridge is getting shot at. What the heck? Somebody had a drone up there. Of course, it's a beach. So you're going to see that sort of thing. Australian Muslim groups are condemning the attack. Of course they're going to condemn the attack. Spread light, my cousin, a relative Bondi victim, tells BBC. Rabbi Zalman Lewis, first cousin of Eli Schlanger, told BBC News that people should spread light by doing charitable acts in his cousin's name. For a country that prides itself on being safe, this attack hits Australia hard. Well, Norway prides itself on being, a place to... Oh, here's the video. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, let me see if I can get to that. I'm going to want to download. Oh, I see. Oh, my goodness. Wow, people driving by. They've got a third weapon there. Wow. They're just walking calmly in this part. Copy link. I'm going to have to watch that video after it's over. I had not seen that, so let me download it before it goes away, because that will likely be... Well, it won't be taken down by Twitter anymore. It would have been taken down by Twitter in the old days under Jack Dorsey, but now it's set. But still, you want to download that. Save link as Bondi Beach shooters. Sorry. Thank you for that. So let me save it. I've got it. Okay, so we've got that one. Wow. Yeah, so, I get attacked by hate-wanking, pathetic losers who watch Biz News because I didn't talk about this. Well, it hadn't happened yet, geniuses. So now it has happened. Anyway, fearful cooler heads do not prevail. We might be on the verge of another crusade. Well, you might be. Daniel knows. It's a global intifada that lefties are changing for. Yes, that's what they've welcomed into our midst, this intifada. 2CTV had more. What's this? Now my chat is... Oh, God bless it. Computer's just acting all pain in the butt here. So what is this? Bullets purple just above that. They ran out of bullets before they ran out of targets. Oh, okay, I don't know if that's true. Okay. And then I got to refresh the chat. It's not refreshing. Gun laws only work in law-abiding correctly. This is why I want to be a cop. Too long people sitting back and doing nothing. Yep. Both can be seen shot on the bridge at the end. Okay. 12 people, yeah, there's 29 people who were wounded, 11 dead. UK is on fire due to total negligence. They've been terribly stupid when dealing with, what's that? Sound just came up and went down just quick like that. 12 people reported shot. Criminals, that video shows their stupidity, no face mask, idiots. No, they plan on dying there. I mean, that's obvious. Kurt says, sorry, not sorry. Yeah, no, Garrett, they intend on died. They intended on dying. They never expected to walk off that from that scene alive. So that's Bondi Beach, man. That's what happened today. So thoughts and prayers to those that attacked. Once again, more anti-Semitism. I mean, it's sickening what's going on around the world, and it started right here in America. and in South Africa. Yep. Oh my goodness. Who is Lou? And how can Lou share a group? Because Lou is not a moderator. Okay, now it's a lot of footage on X. Okay, thanks. Cannot let situation in regards to these types of people getting any worse. No illegals. Yep. And the guy is a hero. He appears to be an Arab of some sort. Who supplied a gun with weapons? Well, Marilyn. Hey, Marilyn, how you doing? Good to see you there. Worried about you. I didn't see the guy they're calling a hero. Allegedly immigrants, one from Pakistan. I see a clip as a charitable service gift to the givers. They help the unfortunate food and basics, but now demanding people accept Islam before they can be assisted. Van, I haven't seen that. I've been told that, but I haven't been able to verify that. I have interviewed Dr. Suleiman in the past, and I'm aware that that's an allegation, but I haven't seen it. Yep. Anyway, let's get on with the rest of the news, folks, because it's really moving along. We spent 15 minutes on that. The knives are out for John Steenhuisen as the Democratic Alliance leader race heats up. Donors and much of the top brass think the current leader has damaged the party's brand. What do you think? All right, guys, let's do a poll on that. Let's do a poll on this issue. Do you think that Steenhuisen has damaged DA's brand? Okay, start a poll. Has John Steenhuisen damaged the DA brand? I think the DA has damaged the DA brand, but that's just me. All right, there you go. Poll is up, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to vote in the poll as we move on to more news. But the Times Live is saying that the knives are out for John Steenhuisen. I know they're out, and they deserve to be out. He is a fragile, egoed, dangerous, unaccomplished man. This is according to an impeccable DA source who spoke to the Sunday Times, indicating their increasing appetite in the party for new leadership as unhappiness over his suitability remain at the helm grows. It's understood the DA is under pressure from its donors to give Steenhuisen his marching orders. They have of late grown unhappy with his leadership style. His alleged abuse of party funds was the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, we'll see what happens to John Steenhuisen. And then if anything does happen to him, perhaps I'll have a disclosure for the world. I will have an exclusive for the world. If he disappears. If he doesn't disappear, I'll sit on the information. Let's just leave it at that, okay? And it's backed up on multiple servers, Johnny boy. Multiple servers in multiple countries. Wow. There you go. There's a little tidbit. Now you all can hope Johnny can go so you can find out what I want to talk about. Yeah. Action SA appeals refusal to release top secret Pala Pala report. Oh, more cover up. That's the main farmhouse at Pala Pala. Action SA is doing good work here. They are appealing the Independent Police Investigative Directive's refusal to its application to see the top secret report on Pala Pala before it launches a court bid to challenge the regulations used to classify the report. Ladies and gentlemen, why does an internal domestic police report on alleged criminality in South Africa need top secret classification? Were there foreign sources that provide information? Do you have to protect the sources and methods of information collected? No, you don't. You don't. There's no justification for a police report into the president's misconduct to be top secret. And the Action SA party is doing something useful for South African citizens here. In March, Senzo Mkhunu, who is currently suspended, in response to a written parliamentary question from the African Transformation Movement's MP Voriolwetu Zungula, revealed that the directorate had classified the report as top secret. He said it's disingenuous to claim that the report, which was completed in October 2023, was suppressed. Well, of course it's suppressed. Nobody can see what it says. But we don't need it. We know. My poll is missing? What are you talking about? The poll is up, man. The poll is being voted on. 227 people vote on the poll. I don't know what you're talking about. The poll is there. There's something wrong with your feed or with your source. Anyway, so let's work with China. Hey, there's some great advice coming from... What was that? Why is that stuff not showing up on my screen? I can see it. I can hear it. Where are the... Hang on a second. Where is the alerts? Okay, where are the alerts here? I'm looking for the alerts. Oh, it's turned off. That's why. Thank you for that. I heard that. I'm a young South African man, 20. I've never even voted for the DA. Seen as a weak leader. Walking Bangkok. Well, I don't disagree. But we're going to work with the Chinese. Just a second here. I have to. A little hard to swallow those words, so going to have to take a break here. By the way, my little thermos I picked up from one of the commercial stores adjacent to the White House complex on my visit Friday, this thing keeps stuff cold. I wasn't expecting that. My iced tea stays nice and cold. Anyway, Juju Malema is telling us that we should work with China. Yes, of course, we should work with China, Julius. But you never work, so what would you know about that? Labels Donald Trump Adolf Hitler, calls for a closer bond with Beijing. Look, it's the incredible slimming Juju. The incredible slimming Juju. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next several minutes, we are going to welcome into the program Julius Malema. Ladies and gentlemen, Julius will be here with us right now. Julius, please join us here on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Julius Cello Tape Malema. There you go. Welcome to the program, Juju. Good to have you back again. Thank you. You sit up there and be quiet while we cover the news. Well, the AfriForum has indicated that they have information that the State Security Agency and the Director of International Relations and Cooperation are paying journalists, yes, paying them to say bad things about AfriForum. Is this believable? It is for me. I have no trouble believing this whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. It is very plausible. In fact, I'm surprised that they aren't all paid the way that most of them talk about these groups and lie and misstate and mislead people. But let's just go on to the story with Kali Creel.
AfriForum has received reliable information from a prominent former journalist that at least 2 South African journalists are being paid by the State Security Agency as well as the Department of International Relations to discredit AfriForum and the Solidarity Movement. Therefore, AfriForum has now officially applied in terms of the Access to Information Act to the Department of International Relations as well as the State Security Agency to provide us with the names of those academics, journalists and commentators that are being paid by them. These allegations are in line with AfriForum's experience since February this year, when an orchestrated campaign started to try and discredit AfriForum with lies. Numerous media houses has now already had to apologize to AfriForum for publishing these lies about us. AfriForum has received reliable information from a prominent former journalist.
So, a state smear campaign. Hey, Julius, I told you to be quiet. I see you waving the fans out there. All right, so that's Julius Malema, Julius Sellotape Malema, and he's calling Donald Trump Hitler. And I'm the one that's not allowed to talk about South Africa. Please, spare me. Jelly tot. Well, almost immediately, as if they were ready for the campaign, the media, who ignore farm murders, who ignore the torture of innocent black South Africans, who ignore the plight of starving black children in the Eastern Cape, the media, who ignore land invasions, by the most part, minutes after that thing is out. Already published, folks. Already published. Oh, calls to release the names. We hear, of course, a very famous Max Dupree, a so-called journalist, saying, this is a typical Strat Communications. This is just the racist. This is what they do. Unnamed sources. Unnamed sources. Have you read News 24 or IOL? Unnamed sources, that's all they have. Unnamed sources. Give me a break. Moments. They were ready for this. Publish the names. I'm sorry. Babito Deokaran. Marius van der Merwe. The list goes on and on. People's lives are in jeopardy. Why in the world would anyone publish the names of the people who are going to expose the state security agents? Seriously? Do they actually think that makes sense? Publish the names. Calls grow for AfriForum Solidarity. Named journalists allegedly paid to discredit them. The calls followed a video posted online by AfriForum CEO Kali Creel. Several social media users expressed skepticism, arguing that the seriousness of the allegations require transparency. Ex-user Nick Anderson said, it's very simple. If it's true, name names. Tell us who. Expose whoever it is. But if no name's provided, it paints a narrative against all journalists in South Africa. Then ask why. Dude, are you not paying attention? They're murdering witnesses. They're murdering whistleblowers. Every day they're going after people. They murdered Armand Swat because they thought he was a whistleblower. An innocent technician fixing lines. Gunned down. His children left orphans. Shut up, these idiots. See, here's the Times Live using social media as if social media is news. Wow. Unbelievable. Germany on the G20. Let's not talk about problems that are non-existent. Yeah, like German talent. Let's not talk about German talent because it doesn't exist. Let's talk about German democracy. Doesn't exist. It's gone. The fascist government of Berlin uses the intelligence service to spy on a registered political party with the second largest membership in parliament. Yeah, that is not a democracy. That is a fascist totalitarian state. And here's our little ambassador. Here's our little troll presenting his credentials. Yes. German ambassador to South Africa, Andreas Peschka, says Berlin is actively engaging the United States following announcement that the incoming G20 rotational presidency will bar them from next year's summit. Wow. There are two issues. One is the composition of G20 we're discussing. The other is about the situation in the country. About the G20, I would say that Chancellor Merz came out loud and clear. We think South Africa is an important actor in an important forum like G20. Why? South Africa is 39th largest economy in the world. Poland is the 20th largest. No, I wouldn't be surprised what people do for money. They sell their soul. We think South Africa needs to be at the table. We're going to take it up with the incoming presidency. This is about South Africa. We think it ran a very successful presidency, but it actually goes beyond that because South Africa is the only African representative around the table, and so we're talking about a continent of 1.5 billion people. Yeah, and Ethiopia, Nigeria, Morocco, even Egypt are all far better candidates to represent Africa than South Africa. Yes. We followed the murder of Marius Vandemever 2 days ago, so there are issues which we need to follow up on. But that one issue raised by some in America, let me just give you an example. Recently, I attended German Oktoberfest in Pretoria. We had 2 days, 15,000 people, lots of Germans and South Africans from all walks of life, all groups of the population. We had 2 good days and a very good time. Also, lots of fun, lots of ice buying. Yes, lots of beer, but no repression and no persecution. Probably that's not the problem we're talking about. Our take would be, I am not a South African politician, I'm here as a diplomat, but our take would, as partners, we should try and tackle those problems that exist, like unemployment, creating jobs rather than talking about problems that are non-existent. Ambassador Peschka, you are an apparatchik. This court finds you guilty of propaganda and blatant lies. Well, since I'm here to talk about all the good things in South Africa, since Ken Ernston thinks that it's always the same story, let's talk about some nice news, South Africa. Okay, Ken? Are you there, Ken? I know you got a bad conduct discharge. You're not in the Wyatt Army anymore, but let's talk about the good stuff. It's the good stuff now. You ready? Hercules! Hercules! Ooh, ooh. Let's talk about some good stuff. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I don't have a good news story. I have another bad news story. Yes, no health care for you. No soup for you. Military veterans are told, sorry, but your medical fund is bankrupt. How is it bankrupt? Because they stole the money. The fund responsible for covering soldiers' complete medical care until death is practically bankrupt, leaving nearly 36,000 military pensioners facing an uncertain future. With only 3.5% of obligations funded and a $2.5 billion shortfall, the Defense Department has been warned the fund can no longer operate as a going concern. Well, how did that happen? How did that happen? How did that happen? Oh, yes, Ambassador Peschka. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, come sing along with the Friar Ambassador. Yes. Well, more good news. So there's growing argument over Elon Musk and Starlink as the DA minister in the government of national unity says we should let foreign entities have their licenses without giving up their equity. Notice they said foreign entities, but it's all about Starlink. Yes. There you go. The presidency has rejected claims by billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk that South Africa has failed to amend its laws to allow its satellite internet service Starlink to operate, accusing him of misrepresenting the regulatory position. Spokesman Vincent Magwenya was responding to public comments. Magwenya said government would not be pressured into altering its legal framework to accommodate a single company, adding that South Africa's laws apply equally to domestic and foreign firms seeking to do business in the country. He thinks he can bully us into submission with his deliberate dishonesty. We will not be bullied. No, you think you can bully us into submission with your blatant racism. We will not be bullied by your blatant racism. Survey says Vincent Magwenya guilty. Propaganda disseminator. Disinformation. Transnet narrowed its loss. Well, congratulations. Here's the good news. Yay, we do have some good news for South Africa. Thank God we found some. I wouldn't want Ken to think I never talk about anything different. My goodness. Never mind all the interviews I do with all these people. Transnet narrows interim loss as volumes and revenue rise. Transnet has reported a marked improvement in its interim financial performance, buoyed by higher freight volumes across its rail, ports, and pipeline businesses. The state-owned parastatal logistics group remains loss-making and under pressure from high debt. Transnet said its revenue rose 8% to $45 billion, earnings before interest, and they increased by 15.4%. But after you take down all the write-downs, they're way in the hole. So it's a little good news and a lot of bad news. Well, a fifth body has been found at that temple collapse, shoddy construction in Durban. 5 bodies now recovered from the collapse of a 4-story temple in Redcliffe, KwaZulu-Natal, where construction activities were underway at the time of the incident. The organization confirmed that the initial emergency call was received on Friday. Rescue technicians successfully lowered a rescue basket into a cavity within the collapsed structure to retrieve a 5th body. Sad. Hope fades as voices stop coming from the temple collapse. 4-story building under construction collapse in Redcliffe, Fairlawn. 11 survivors have been pulled from rubble. 1 person has been confirmed dead so far. Actually, it's a lot more than that. Didiza and Ramakopa enter the ANC secession race to replace Ramaphosa. Well, she's not going to win, I'll tell you that now. The front runner is Kojisenso Ramakopa. While the ANC tried with might and main to prevent its National General Council meeting from degenerating into a secession battle, that's exactly what happened on the sidelines, as ANC high-ups like Toko Didiza and Kojisenso Ramakopa, whose names are now being mentioned as future leaders. Didiza is reportedly seen by supporters of Ramaphosa as his successor due to her stature. The Minister of Agriculture under Mandela, Minister of Agriculture under Mbeki, Minister of Public Works under Mbeki, Minister of Agriculture under Ramaphosa, elected Speaker of the National Assembly, and one of the highly regarded opposition. So let's see. Since 1994, she hasn't had a job. Since 1994, she's suckling off the teat of the taxpayer. She hasn't had a job in 31 years, not had a job. Tragically, folks, more sad news in South Africa. It's the holiday season when lots of people unfortunately perish. A baby among 12 killed in 2 separate road accidents in Gauteng and the Northern Cape. Look at that carnage. 12 people, including a baby, have been killed in 2 separate road accidents. In the Western Cape, more than 20 people died in road accidents in 1 week. Why don't they talk about the rest of the country? Traffic authorities have urged motorists to exercise extreme caution on the roads over the festive season after 12 people, including a baby, were killed in 2 separate accidents. My goodness. Sad, sad situation. Look at that. That vehicle is just crushed to one side. Man. Government is proposing a merit-based system for South African citizenship. A revised white paper on citizenship has been gazetted for public comment. Interesting. The new merit-based approach for granting citizenship is proposed as opposing to basing qualifications solely on the number of years a foreigner has lived in South Africa. The priorities of the Government of National Unity, the visa review undertaken by Operation Vulindlela and Department of Homeland Affairs digital transformation have all been incorporated into the revised white paper. So, there's a need to review the current visas under the Immigration Act. With regard to refugees, the first safe country principle is refined. The principle states that asylum seekers who have been granted refugee status or lawful protection in other country or pass through safe third countries to reach other are ineligible for asylum in South Africa. Wait. Stop the bus. Hold on. Stop the train. Whoa. Order in the court. Bailiff, please remove those disruptive people at the back of the gallery. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa is proposing that if you reach a safe haven in a country and transit that third country to come to South Africa, you shouldn't be allowed to stay there because it's called destination shopping. Isn't that what I've been saying about refugees and asylum seekers all along? Asylum seekers and refugees are supposed to seek safety in the first safe haven. Refugees can be relocated out of the kindness and goodness of people's hearts to other countries, but asylum seekers cannot seek asylum in a third country. That is destination shopping. And look what South Africa's doing. They're adhering to international norms. And we were called racist and evil because we expect people to uphold those international norms. But now South Africa expects the same thing. Hypocrisy. Thy name is the GNU. Unbelievable. Well, Peter Bruce says Donald Trump is crazy. Well, Peter Bruce is a very much deranged anti-Trumper. He's a smart guy, but when it comes to Trump, he's deranged. While the Americans are capable of really hurting South Africa sanctions they want to, the fact is that Trump is losing his mind. Is he really losing his mind? Most of the story is about the failure of the ANC, but he decides to pick on Trump. And you get here this guy who talks about Donald McKay, the managing director of XA Global Trade Advisors, said, and he's the smartest trade brain in the country, says that the loss of AGOA really hasn't affected South Africa. Then why did the South African government announce in October that 40,000 jobs directly tied to AGOA had already disappeared since August 9th? Well, really? 40,000 jobs don't matter to you? Oh, the only thing is that, the reciprocal tariffs on cars are only 25%. Guess what? They used to be zero. They used to be zero. Now it's 25%. About half what we export is exempted because they're precious metals. Automotive is really Mercedes-Benz in East London, and that is not part of the 30% reciprocal tariffs of the U.S. Section 232 tariffs, which are tariffs on all imported cars at 25%. So you went from zero to a 25% tariff, and so it really doesn't matter. And it's not just Mercedes. It's also others, like, for instance, BMW, who ship automobile parts to America. It's not just finished cars. Then you get in agriculture and citrus. By the time the duties come, the local season's over, and now Trump has exempt a lot of citrus from 30%. But 30% is not going anywhere. There's no one negotiating it away from South Africa, so it'll be there next year. So what is your point, man? Unbelievable. We got to be kidding ourselves about the importance of the U.S. Africa Growth and Opportunities Act. In terms of AGOA, he said the average value of the tax that was saved as a percentage of total exports U.S. is under AGOA is 3.5%. And a year that amounts to $2 billion. I don't think people have a sense of how tiny a proportion of our exports benefit from AGOA or how small the AGOA benefit was. Once again, clueless. This guy is a trade representative. That is your analysis. You need to look at the sectors where the AGOA benefits accrued, and look who accrued. Small and medium-sized enterprises, which are barred from doing business with the South African government, are exporting their goods and services to America. And that duty-free, it may be a benefit, just 3.5% of many goods, which is true. But it equates to $3 billion in trade, number one, not $2 billion. Number two, we're talking at that level of tens of billions of rand in tax savings, and makes your product more competitive. And see, that's the intangible that this analyst, this managing director, doesn't take into account. If I go to a supermarket and a South African bottle of wine is there, and it's $2 a bottle cheaper than a Chilean wine, and I've never drank wine, I'm going to look at them and I'm going to buy the South African wine and give it a try, because it was more affordable. And now I'm a consumer of South African wine. I go back because it turned out to be good. So you get your entree in the door because your products are more competitive. And then you manage to win over consumers with the quality of your product. These people are actually economists, business people. That's how they, oh my goodness. Wow. Well, Canada has warned, oh, sorry, folks. Ken, are you here? Are you here, Ken? If you're watching, Ken, I'm sorry, but I can't give you good news now. I have to tell the truth. Canada has not encouraged. Okay, I'll try. Okay, well, I'll try. Hang on. I'll try. Let me put on a different hat. Ladies and gentlemen, very good news out of Canada. Ottawa is encouraging every Canadian to travel to South Africa this year. It's the warmest, friendliest, most beautiful place in the world. Yeah, it is. You should go there. It's amazing. It's a bargain. It's a value for tourists. Fantastic infrastructure, wonderful sights. See, the people are amazing. The food is incredible. All Canadians should travel to South Africa immediately. Go there, escape the harsh winters of Northwest Territories and Nunavut, and of course, and out west in Calgary. Just go to South Africa. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. We encourage all South Africans to go there forthwith. I mean, all Canadians, sorry, all Canadians, hey, all Canadians, hey, take off for South Africa. It's amazing. It's a perfectly wonderful place. You'll have a wonderful time there. Maybe you'll meet a local and marry her, and we can get more diversity in Canada because there's too many white people here. We know we're doing our best to bring Pakistanis and Chinese in the country, but we want you to go and bring South Africans back. So please go to South Africa. Ottawa encourages you to go to South Africa. Come on, you hoser, go to South Africa. It's your destination this year. All right, Ken, I tried. It wasn't very convincing, my lies. So we get back to the news now. Let's get back to the news. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it, not with a straight face. Let's get back to the news, okay? All right, so Canada warns its citizens about traveling to South Africa. The Canadian government has issued an extensive travel advisory urging citizens to exercise heightened caution when traveling to South Africa, warning of widespread violent crime, kidnapping risk, and threats to travelers in urban areas on roads and airports. In its advisory, Canada cautioned that violent crime is prevalent across the country and has affected foreign nationals. It's warned travelers that armed robberies, carjackings, home invasions, and assaults occur frequently, particularly at night. Exercise a high degree of caution in South Africa due to the significant level of serious crime. Violent crimes occur frequently throughout the country and involve foreigners. And I say, nonsense! Poppycock, Boulderdash, that can't possibly be true. I've been told that I've been spreading bad rumors about South Africa. No, it's poppycock, I'm telling you. The Canadians, I mean, they're just trying to start something. Look at that. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Does that make Canada racist? Is Canada racist? I mean, they've just told people to be careful going to South Africa. Issued a travel warning. That must make them racist. Racist. Well, a Cape Town nurse has been subjected to racist abuse by a patient, according to the Equality Court. Racist abuse hurled against a Mediclinic nurse in Cape Town amounted to hate speech and harassment, the Equality Court ruled. The patient, who was unhappy because he had to wait before he was assisted, unleashed a stream of racial and gender abuse at the emergency room nurse, who said she was humiliated in the process. Mark Prayer landed in hot water after he used a K word towards nurse Funeka Mayongo during a visit to the clinic in February. He also called her an effing biatch and aimed sore words towards her mother. Interesting. His feeling was that he was being racially prejudiced. He, however, denied calling her the K word. He said he was usually a calm person. He said he was not proud that he lost his temper. Judge Daniel Tulare noted that Prayer was impatient and angry, and that he did make the utterances, as this was supported by other witnesses. It seems to me that racists have a fragile ego. Where their flaws are exposed, they blame their victims and maintain their image to avoid shame. The judge added that Prayer's version is, on balance of probabilities, false. It is what in English law is called cock and bull story. The matter will return to court to decide on sanction. Well, Mr. Prayer, get ready for prison, and for anal penetration, you're going to prison. You see, you're a white man, presumably. You're a white, could be colored. Presumably you're a white man, and you said the evil word in a country without free speech, and therefore you must be imprisoned and be anally assaulted as a felon, because South Africa's government is afraid of words. In this situation, he should have simply been kicked out of the hospital. Simple as that, and banned from ever using that facility. But no, he will wind up in prison as a convicted felon for his words, while rapists and murderers run free on the streets, and people assassinate witnesses in the halls and the streets of South Africa, and government officials steal with impunity and leave ANC conferences to take extortionist bribes. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Former Springbok captain Adrian Richter has sold his memories. Adrian Richter auctioned off his World Cup medal for 62,500 Rand, along with his mini trophy for 34,000. His car is already gone. Yeah, I did a video on this. I don't know where the heck it went to. I'm going to have to find it. I recorded this last night. The 59-year-old former loose forward scored 4 tries in the 95 World Cup tournament and captained the Bucks in their match against Romania, but he did not play in the final. It was my last personal belongings I could sell. They were precious to me. I think I won 6 Krugerrands in my rugby career, and I've already sold them. My car has already been sold. It's the last thing you want to sell, but at one point, I even had to sell my rugby jerseys. Emotionally, it's all devastating. I have 2 children, 16 and 14, and my second wife, and they're only now finding out who I am and what I've achieved. Not much left for them. And somebody bought this. It would be the decent thing to donate it back to him, but then he might sell it again, so I understand that. These days, everything is race-oriented. I just couldn't get contracts anymore. I had to work through someone else all the time. Then you work for 3 months, you never get paid. I would often hear that the guys never got paid, but they lied. Yep. I had a farm, I had a plot and cars, and everything was paid off when I stopped playing rugby. I saw my backside on the farm, and it was a case of everything going wrong no matter what you do. I'd get a big contract to plant maize. I went out and put up pivots and everything, but that was the year that maize fell. There was no maize or anything. In that case, you can only hold out for so long. After that, I went to Emahalini, and now I have a few rental properties. But now, for example, 2 houses have not paid the rent in 2 months. You're talking about 50,000 Rand. Now, what should I do? Be inhuman and throw them out? I made good decisions. My circumstances just did not always work out well. I had my innings, and I cannot complain about my life at all. I played rugby and was able to see the world. But he is suffering because of the BE. Chaos Juggler, I'm okay. Thank you for your concern. Reporting about Zimbabwe, journalists are caught in the minister's land crab controversy. 2 Zimbabwean journalists and their driver were arrested at gunpoint in Masvingo while investigating a land dispute involving Minister Ezra Chadzimria, who allegedly seized the land from a widow for private development. The journalists were accused of trespassing and briefly detained, with claims surfacing the vehicle they used was allegedly linked to armed robberies. They were later released without charge. Zimbabwe remains a high-risk location for journalists. We parked our vehicle outside the premises. A few minutes later, Chad Zamira's vehicle pulled up and blocked her way. The minister's vehicle was being driven by his aide. We are no longer reporting for work after receiving information that state spy agents are also looking for us. The matter is clearly abuse of authority by the Minister of State. Yep. Also, the illegal expropriation of the farm is more abuse by state officials in Zimbabwe. Surprise, surprise, surprise. China is racing to help Namibia, yes, reach its nuclear goals and save it from its worst drought in 100 years. Last June, the southern African country Namibia proposed constructing a second desalination plant, a measure necessitated by the country's persistent drought. They proposed constructing a second desalination plant. Swakop Uranium and NAM Water are collaborating on the plant near Swakopmund. Worst drought in 100 years awakens a 26-year-old Namibian project which was sleeping. Remittance flow into Zimbabwe is massive, $880 million now. Zimbabwe received an excess of $880 million in diaspora remittances between January and May alone. That's an 8% rise. 5 months. So well over $1.5 billion, $2 billion a year. Central banks show that these inflows now account for 16% of the country's foreign currency earnings. So 16% of what Zimbabwe earns from abroad comes from people sending remittances back from the work they're doing in other countries and sending that money back to Zimbabwe, undermining the countries that they're working. Lesotho's parliament has blocked a debate on an explosive hospital report. The Queen Mamahota Lesotho's parliament blocked the tabling of Public Accounts Committee report, procurement irregularities, and awarding of a contract to operate a private wing at the Queen Mamahota Memorial Hospital. The only registered company after the bids was awarded the contract. Something strange going on in Lesotho. They don't want to talk about it. Uganda will receive 28 billion rand of U.S. funding under the Trump health plan. Wait a second. I thought Trump was a racist. I mean, isn't Uganda populated overwhelmingly 97% by black folks? I thought Trump was a racist. Why are we giving Uganda $1.5 billion US for healthcare? What's going on there? I mean, I don't understand that. We stopped the aid in South Africa because Trump's a racist. Isn't that what they said? That's what Julius said. He's Adolf Hitler. But Adolf Hitler's giving $1.5 billion, 1.7. Uganda will get up to 1.7 billion of U.S. funding for its health sector over the next 5 years, making it the latest African country to agree to a pact with President Trump since it overhauled its approach to foreign aid. Well, the little secret that's not known is we were giving Uganda $350, $400 million a year anyway before this. Uganda's government will increase its own health expenditure by $500 million to gradually assume greater financial responsibility. So after decades of us paying for Ugandan healthcare, Uganda is now going to increase their healthcare spending to $500 million when we're going to give them $1.7 billion. So who pays for Ugandan healthcare? Let me tell you this. If it wasn't for Americans, there would be no healthcare in Rwanda. There would be no healthcare in Uganda. We provide the bulk of funding, American taxpayers, to their healthcare system. A few years back, leftist liberals, when we had, 15 years ago, oh, look at Rwanda, they have state healthcare. Yeah, because an insurance scheme that's set up, that's funded because U.S. tax dollars given in foreign aid makes it possible. If the Rwandans had to pay the true cost of healthcare, they'd have no healthcare. Americans carry the burden for them. Idiots. China's not going to pay for our healthcare if we have an adopted state system. Trump has stripped Ethiopians of temporary protected status. They're not refugees. They are TPS. The U.S. ends temporary protected status for Ethiopians, affecting 5,000 refugees, effective February 2026. Cites Ethiopia's recovery despite ongoing violence and U.S. travel warnings. So, I lived in Ethiopia. I don't know why refugees have to come here. I lived in Ethiopia perfectly fine. Why do we have refugees from Ethiopia? Why? It's a big country. If there's a conflict in the Oromo region in the southeast, then just move to another part of the country. Conflict in Tigray, move to another part of the country. Big country, lots of place for people to live, but they're stripping of that. And once again, I told you, these are TPS, not refugees, temporary protected status. But of course, South African media couldn't be counted on to get that right. Well, the alleged leader of the so-called coup in Benin has sought refuge in neighboring Togo. The alleged leader of a failed coup in Benin has sought refuge in neighboring Togo, two Beninese government officials told Reuters earlier this week. A dispute between the two small countries over Colonel Pascal Tigri and his alleged accomplices would risk deepening diplomatic divisions in West Africa. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Nigeria's Christians are, in fact, at risk in this jihad going on there, despite the claims of Nigeria's government. The Epoch Times runs a story of the plight of Christians received relatively little global attention until the Trump administration threatened to intervene. Well, yes, relatively little. I guess I fall into the camp of relatively little because I'm one of the few journalists who's been talking about it for years. Nuhu Dauda was on a missionary trip 125 miles away from his home in the Plateau State when he got a panic call from his younger brother. He said, jihadists had surrounded my home and were chanting that they would kill everyone inside. Daouda, a 67-year-old Christian evangelist, told Epoch Times. That was 2005. In the 20 years since then, I've seen our people massacred. I saw my family members, in-laws, and friends killed. I've carried the bodies of my own, and I buried them. The plight of Christians in the country received relatively global attention until the Trump administration threatened to intervene and made a recent spike in violence. Nigerian government denies claims of religious persecution, but it is true. And they can deny it all they want. They can try to play whataboutism, but it's true. Christians are targeted. Police say Jewish community was targeted in that deadly Sydney attack. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese of Australia called the shooting on Bondi Beach a terrorist attack targeting the Jewish community during Hanukkah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, mass shootings in Australia. How is that possible? They took all the guns. Look at all these guns that were surrendered by law-abiding citizens. The country's stringent rules are often lauded as a model policy by proponents of gun control in the United States. Oh, yes. And 70 people murdered by a Norwegian shooter. And here, 29 people wounded, 11 dead already in Australia where there's no guns. We can go on and on with the countries that take the guns away from lawful citizens, and then they are defenseless. That's a pile of firearms taken out of circulation during the Australian government's buyback in 1996 after the 1996 Port Arthur massacre, in which 35 people were killed in Tasmania. Mass shootings are rare in Australia, which overhauled its gun laws in 96. That shooting in the Tasmanian town of Port Arthur led to a national reckoning, and the government responded by cracking down on gun ownership. So essentially, they banned everything, and they've taken guns away from everybody, except the criminals and the terrorists. Thailand declares that it has a curfew along its coast as Cambodia border fighting spreads. Thailand has announced a curfew in its southeastern Trat province on Sunday as fighting with Cambodia spread to coastal areas and disputed border region, 2 days after President Trump and would-be peacemaker Donald Trump said the sides agreed to stop. Now they're denying it. Whatever. These people want to kill each other, not much you can do about it. Bangladesh says peacekeepers were killed in Sudan at a UN base. At least 6 Bangladeshi peacekeepers were killed and 8 injured in an attack on a UN base in Abi, Sudan, the Bangladeshi army said on Saturday. Situation in the area is still unstable and clashes with terrorists are ongoing. Bangladesh, of course, is one of the largest troop contributors to UN peacekeeping missions, and its troops have long been deployed in Sudan and South Sudan. Now, why do they do that? They get paid for it. Bangladesh makes tons of money from the United Nations off these peacekeeping missions. Tons of money. Well, even YouTube comments are open for scrutiny for H-1B and H-4 visas. Indians being warned, be careful of what you say in there, everything that comes with your name on the internet. Yep. Make sure your online life matches your visa application. Don't mislead. Philippines typhoon survivors are suing Shell Oil over its role in climate change. Really? Really? Claimants say the oil giant is known for decades that burning fossil fuel contributes to global warming, something the company disputes. Well, whether it contributes or not really isn't germane. Shell isn't burning the oil. Consumers are. If you buy fireworks and you misuse them, it's not the fireworks company's responsibility. It's your responsibility. And as far as climate change, well, how about these people that are burning their trash every day and burning wood? Deforestation. Why don't you sue them? Trump vows to retaliate for the murder of 2 American troops and their translator in Palmyra. President Trump vowed to retaliate for the deaths of 2 U.S. soldiers and American civilian interpreter in central Syria on Saturday and an attack at a joint U.S.-Syrian security patrol that officials blamed the Islamic State militant group. The attack at a fortified base in the city of Palmyra has forced Trump to reckon with a military mission in the long-running U.S. effort in Syria to combat ISIS, about which he has previously voiced skepticism. Trump vows retaliation. That's the town itself, not the historic part. Serious retaliation. So get ready for it. Mexico approves tariffs up to 50% on China and other countries. Wait a second. I thought Trump was the bad guy. Trump is the bad guy with the tariffs. Mexico has just declared a 50% tariff on China. China and other countries. Wow. So, but isn't Trump the bad guy? I'm so confused. I thought Trump was the bad guy. How is that possible? What's this one from Mad Max? POTUS addresses weekend loss of life. Okay, there it is. So let's play that.
Before we begin, however, I want to just pay my respects to the people. Unfortunately, 2 are no longer with us. Brown University, 9 injured, and 2 are looking down on us right now from heaven. And likewise in Australia, as you know, that was a terrible attack. 11 dead, 29 badly wounded. And that was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously. And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. I must say in Syria also, we had an attack in Syria. and we had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people, and not the Syrian government. It was ISIS. Syrian government fought by our side.
Yep, there you go. So that's Trump on that issue right there. Right, let me get back to where I was. I got a few more stories I got to get done here before we wrap up the hour. So China is getting 50% tariff from Mexico. Mexican lawmakers decided to give the green light tariffs up to 50% on China and other Asian nations without a trade deal. Yep. The general import-export tariff laws passed the Mexican Senate on a vote of 76-5 with 35 abstentions. And it passed the lower house, 281 in favor, 24 against, 149 abstentions. Yep. 35% for most tariffs, but 50% for 1,400 products. Yeah, on China, South Korea, India, Vietnam, and Thailand. But America's the evil person. We're just responding to tariffs like this. They're implying tariffs. Cast versus Yara, Chile's election in the runoff. Chileans gear up to cast their ballots in a runoff election with far-right candidate Jose Cast gaining ground in polls. Cast, who considers United States President Trump a role model, has made crime and undocumented migration a centerpiece of his campaign. Promised to start to launch mass deportations if elected, and that's going over very well. A document shows that the U.S. seized Venezuelan oil tanker. Their warrant was going to expire in hours. Heavily redacted document offers almost no new information. The document reveals the U.S. military seized the attacker the same day the warrant was set to expire December 10th. The warrant was issued November 26th, which gave the U.S. 2 weeks to seize the ship. And that's all we know. So they took advantage of the warrant and they seized it. Canadians are rushing to buy stockpiles of U.S. liquor that was boycotted in this foolish boycott of U.S. liquor earlier this year. 4 Canadian provinces are selling off the American liquor they pulled from shelves in protest over Trump's tariffs. Some bourbon drinkers are thrilled. Manitoba, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, and Labrador have decided to sell stockpiles of American liquor they pulled. There's a shopping frenzy in Canada. People rushing to buy the American booze because they prefer that. WestJet, a Canadian carrier, has decided to hold off on putting in non-reclining seat backs in its aircraft because somebody's whining. WestJet says it'll pause and move to complete installation of non-reclining seats on its aircraft following criticism by a union which says the changes will increase guest frustration. The airline announced the updated cabin design for its aircraft in September. Move that includes replacing the traditional economy class reclining seats with fixed back designs. Yep. All right. So, live updates. A person of interest is being sought after the deadly shooting at Brown University. Mayor Brett Smiley of Providence said Sunday that an individual has been detained a day after shooting inside a classroom, killed 2 students and injured 9 others. A person in their 30s. No further details available at this hour. Over 10,000 criminal alien invaders have been arrested in Los Angeles in the last 6 months. Those included those with criminal histories convicted of murder, kidnapping, sexual assaults, and other violent crimes. Federal immigration authorities have arrested more than 10,000 criminals living in Los Angeles since June. 10,000 criminals have been taken off the streets of Los Angeles by the federal government, yet the city of Los Angeles, under Karen Bass and the state of California under Gavin Newsom, refuse to cooperate with federal authorities. An appeals court has a big victory for life. The sanctity of life has been upheld today. A 3-judge panel reverses Judge Talwani's ruling against defunding abortion clinics. Score one for the Trump administration's bid to cut off federal funding for Planned Parenthood. A 3-judge panel of the First Circuit Court of Appeals have ruled 3-0 that the abortion giant is unlikely to prevail in its legal challenge to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act's defunding provision, reversing 2 lower court decisions by U.S. District Judge Indira Talwani. Yeah, that's a very Anglo-Saxon name, not. Because appellees are unlikely to succeed in the merits of their claims, we vacate the district court's 21st July and 28 July orders granting preliminary injunctions. Judge Gustavo Gelpi said in his 41-page opinion released, "Why are all these judges foreigners? What's all this about? What happened to Anglo-Saxon Americans?" Well, the National Trust is suing the Trump administration over the White House ballroom. Well, the National Trust has no legal standing, so why are they suing? The National Trust for Historic Preservation filed a lawsuit against President Trump. Construction of the project, which involves demolishing part of the executive mansion and building 90,000 square foot ballroom, began in September. The project expected to cost $300 million. All of it provided by private donors. The National Trust is seeking injunction, but they have no right. They were incorporated by Congress in 1949, but they have no standing to refute this. They have no dog in the fight, so that's not acceptable. Well, the war on wokeness is continuing as the Mint is getting ready to issue 250th anniversary coins, and they've dropped a number of them. Designs for abolition, which was the dumbest thing that ever happened in America. Women's suffrage, which is a good thing, and the civil rights movement, which is a good thing. So they've dropped that and going something more traditional, like people's hands joining, the Gettysburg Address. Then we've got liberty, Revolutionary War. So, and then the Trump coin, which is controversial. That's highly unusual for a sitting president to be put on a coin. I don't think that's a good idea. Lindsey Vonn, the 41-year-old alpine skier, just won after a reconstructed knee. The American who had a partial knee replacement in 2024 became the oldest World Cup race winner by 4 years. She's now setting her sights on the Winter Olympics. When Lindsey Vonn announced her comeback to ski racing a year ago, she was attempting something that had never been done in the history of her sport. Not only was the 40-year-old star coming in, she traded her boots in. Not only was the American star 40 years old at the time, an age when most racers traded their boots for après-ski, she was also returning to competition after a knee replacement. But on Friday in St. Moritz, that surgically repaired knee carried Vonn back to a familiar place that now seemed out of reach, the top step of the podium. The 41-year-old won. I'm really happy. It's an effing great day. This is amazing. I'm so happy. She finished the course in 1 minute, 29.63 seconds, nearly 1 second faster than Magdalena Eger of Österreich, who was 17 years her junior. She's 7 years older than nearly every woman on the ski race. Wow. Unbelievable. More outlandish that Vonn returned her top-tier competition on a knee that was partially rebuilt, something that no world-class skier had ever attempted. Every time she showed up at a race, she was venturing into uncharted territory. She displaced the oldest person ever win with Italy's Federica Bergoni. Wow. And there you have it, folks. Lindsey Vonn. Congratulations. Wow. That's amazing. Well done. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up the news for today. Thanks for being here. I appreciate being here. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already. Would appreciate it. 399 likes. We can do better than that with 473 people. Hit the like button. We'll be on in just a few minutes after the top of the hour with Lily and myself for Stammtisch with Lily and the Colonel. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. And I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. I had Top Chat on here. I just realized that when I reset it. That's going to do it. We'll see you. You'll be directed straight to it from this. Let me double check and make sure that's the case. I'm sure it's the case, but I could be wrong. Yeah, you're going to be redirected to Stammtisch. Okay? So we'll see you over in just a few minutes. All right? Thanks, everybody. God bless and have a good evening. Cheers.